I don't have a talk this morning. I'm going to read a story. And the title of the story is Wherever I Go, it's named Here Now. Oh, where is it? I see. There it is. Helps when you have your book the right side up. Okay. Once upon a now, there was a woman named Mary. Mary lived in the kingdom of over there, in the capital of past future. The kingdom was a dreary place. The winters were harsh and cold. The summers were hot and dry. Because of the climate, trees were spindly without much growth, and it was difficult to grow anything at all. No matter how hard the people worked and worked, there were never seemed to be enough to eat. The kingdom experienced more famine than feast, more drought than draughts of cool, refreshing air. Past Future City was quite a strange sight to visitors, but then there were few visitors because it was such a dreary place. There were large monuments in past events everywhere. Large groups of people gathered daily to worship there. In their private prayers, the people would recount the wars, the hurts, the miseries and losses of the past. For you see, the monuments weren't to memorialize victories because they didn't know anything of victories. The monuments they worshipped were set in stone because to the minds of the people, the past could not be overcome. There was no such thing as victory, only loss. Sprinkled among these monuments to the past were two other monuments made of some kind of light, flimsy material. They sat half-finished. There were to be monuments to the future, but no one ever seemed to get around to finishing them. When they went to try, the crowd would gather and say, "You can't do it. You can't do it." In the center of the city were two huge monuments, one old and ugly. It looked like it was falling apart, but actually it was only ugly because it was the stoniest monument of all. The other had a futuristic look to it, but wasn't even half finished. Whoever had started it hadn't given it a firm foundation. It sagged to one side, as did the other monuments to the future in the city. These two monuments were dedicated to the Queen of Unforgiveness and the King of Someday. Every day, people gathered at those monuments and intoned, "Why doesn't somebody do something? Why doesn't somebody fix this place? Why doesn't somebody come and save us?" The people of the kingdom of over there were hard workers, especially those who lived in the capital city of past future. But no matter how hard they worked, things seemed to get worse. To help themselves feel better, they would think about how it would be in the future when someone came and saved them. But then their minds would be overcome with the lessons of the past year. They would become afraid of losses to come in the future. As a result, most people were extremely polite, doing things they never really wanted to do because they were afraid of another loss. Other people in the kingdom became tyrannical and controlling. They took advantage of the others and manipulated them, helped them to feel guilty, so they could get what they wanted. They too were afraid of loss and were determined not to experience another one in the future. But of course, they did. The people of the kingdom were always searching for the good life. Sometimes they could catch a glimpse of it, but it seemed unreachable because it was always over there and never here. Unreachable. That's how the kingdom got its name. Mary worked for a publishing company called Later Events. The magazine was dedicated to the future when everyone would experience the good life. Its motto was, "Be good now, and you'll get your reward later." They also published a list of all of the things you needed to follow in order to be good enough. She really didn't like her work. Her boss was the tyrannical type. Often, in his presence, Mary felt as though she had, in the past, victimized and guilty. She didn't know that she was feeling these things because she never paid attention to what she was feeling. Somewhere, Mary had come across the concept of loving yourself. She heard that if you loved yourself, you could change your life. So Mary decided to try it. She always made sure she got the biggest piece of cake. She went and bought herself a whole new wardrobe. She had also heard that part of loving yourself was speaking up for yourself. So she got in frequent arguments with her husband and everyone else. But none of this seemed to work, so she quit, became, as she had always been, a citizen of past future. One of Mary's favorite monuments was the one to blame. She would go there and sit for hours praying her blame prayers, which were very powerful. I might add, because she always found someone else to blame. One day, as she sat there with her eyes closed, she heard a voice. "I have a present for you, Mary." Mary opened her eyes and saw a woman standing there. Mary knew from the elegant clothes that the woman had that she was not dressed from past future. "What did you say?" asked Mary. "I have a present for you. Here, take it." The woman reached out her hand and with a red rock cradled in it. The woman went on, "This is a magic red rock from the city of present moment, in the kingdom of here now. If you hold it each day, you'll begin to feel its power. You'll be able to make all of your dreams come true." Mary took the magic red rock tentatively. "You must promise not to tell anyone about it or where it came from to receive the full benefits of its magic," said the woman. Mary was impressed. She had heard of the kingdom here now. She had heard the vague impression it was over there somewhere. It was bright and sunny. Things grew easily, so they always had feast instead of famine, and they were refreshed with draughts of refreshing rain instead of eternal drought. The capital city, present moment, was supposed to be especially beautiful, a place of light and wisdom where people sang and danced and had fun all day, and they called work play. It was renowned for its beauty and prosperity. Mary felt the red rock in her hand. It did seem to be magical. Now, in the past, it was Mary's practice to spend time each day at her own special shrine, "I'm the victim." That dominated her family room. In worship, she would recount the losses of the past and look over there to the future. Now, however, she changed her practice. Instead, she began to spend time in secret holding the magic red rock. Mary was sure she could feel its energy, feel its pulsing with prosperity, and that was what Mary wanted more than anything. If she just had enough money, she was sure everything in her life would be better. Mary, you see, thought prosperity was having a lot of money in the bank. Mary began to think, to have enough to get out of debt that always seemed to hang over her head, to have enough money left over at the end of the month for fun, to build a new house, buy a new car. Yes, thought Mary, If I only had enough money, I would be happy. She held the magic red rock tightly as if she could literally squeeze the money out of it. Things began to change for Mary. The fights with her husband and everyone else grew less. Her boss was kinder. If she had been aware of her feelings, she would have noticed she was beginning to feel appreciated. Then she got a huge raise. Mary never noticed her feelings, but she noticed things were changing in her life. It was all because of the magic red rock. "Thank you, Red Rock," she crooned. Mary decided to have the magic red rock made into a locket to wear around her neck so it would always be with her. One day, Mary decided she was doing so well she would go to the Temple of Hope and play one of those games that gave you hope and the hope of winning millions of dollars, though mostly mostly they never did. But Mary decided with her magic red rock she was unbeatable. So she went and she won. Big. Mary felt something she had never felt before: happiness. She didn't know what she was feeling because she never paid attention to things like that. She only knew something was different and she liked it. "Thank you, Red Rock," she prayed. Time to move to the kingdom of here now. She decided it was time to move, and so she did. She wanted to live in its capital city, present moment, more than anything. When she told her husband and children, she did not get a happy reception. "How do you know there is such a place? If it's anywhere, it's over there, and we don't know the way. Will we have to change?" They were full of reasons to stay behind, but Mary convinced them because she had her magic red rock. She knew she'd find it. They started out, but somehow her husband and children got lost along the way, and she arrived at the kingdom of here and now alone. Mary decided it was all for the best anyway. Here now was a wonderful kingdom to explore, and the moment city was awe-inspiring. There were broad trees lining the avenues, flowers in bloom everywhere. The markets were full of delicious produce. The people were frequently and friendly, very well dressed. Mary noticed something different about them. They all smiled, real smiles. And there were no monuments of anything. Not to the past and not to the future. She found a comfortable place to live, and she began to play at a publication called Now Is Where It's At. And the play was what she used to call work. In a large room, the first thing, I practiced this. The first thing she noticed that at the publication called Now Is Where It's At, the playmates did something each morning. They gathered in a large room and chanted, "Here, now, here, now. You can do it, you can do it, I can do it, I can do it." And they would, in fact, play. And she also began to feel different, and she began to play. And for some reason, people started calling her Joanna instead of Mary. She liked the new name, so she kept it. She built a new shrine in her new home where she worshiped the Red Rock. One day, for some reason, Joanna took off the pendant that had held her Red Rock. She didn't notice it was gone until she sat down to worship it at the altar. When she reached for it, she was shocked. How long had it been missing? When had she taken it off? Where is it? Is it over there or over there? And Joanna looked and looked, but no matter where she looked, she couldn't find her magic red rock. That day was one of the worst days Joanna ever had. Everything went wrong. Her play director at the magazine gave her some She felt victimized and didn't notice he had asked her kindly. She also didn't know she was feeling victimized. She only knew she didn't like the way she felt. Later in the day, one of her playmates said, "I really liked the way you played with that article in the Now." That was yesterday. Joanne thought, what's wrong with what I'm playing with? Oh, one was better because I had my magic red rock. Joanna felt worse and worse. She remembered how good it was. She remembered how good it was before she came to the present city. I've got to find my red rock. And so Mary began to search again for her red rock. She looked in the drawers. It wasn't over there. She looked and looked, all the while remembering how good the past had been with her magic red rock. And now bleak the future was without it. She went to bed that night, sobbing, and was in pain. Where was the red rock? What had she done that was so awful she had to lose it? But then, didn't she always lose? Something strange happened that night to Joanna. She never did figure out how it happened. But the next morning, when she woke up, she was in a strange room. Well, it wasn't all that strange because she realized it was her old bedroom over there. Joanna was gone, and Mary was again back in her old house, in her old home, in the kingdom of over there, in the past future city. Her husband and children were not happy to see her. "You deliberately lost us. You wanted to get rid of us," they shouted the past. "No, I didn't," she defended herself because she felt guilty. "I wanted you to go with me," she shouted the future, but they wouldn't listen. Instead, they turned away and worshiped the shrine of what had been. Mary went to see if she could get her old job back, but her boss said, "Go over there and I'll talk to you later." He didn't, though. He just didn't get to it. She sat there and thought about the past and what the future would hold for her. It looked even bleaker than it had the day before. Finally, she got up and wandered out to the monuments in the center of town, the one to unforgiveness. And someday, she sat with her eyes closed and began her mantra, "Why doesn't somebody do something? Why doesn't somebody fix this? Why doesn't somebody come and save us?" Then she heard a voice, and she opened her eyes, and there, standing in front of her, was a beautiful woman. Mary was angry, though she would have denied it if you had drawn. A voice broke into her prayer. "You are somebody," was the old woman. "Oh, goodness gracious. It's over there. Why doesn't somebody come and fix this place? Why doesn't somebody come and save us?" A voice broke into her prayer. "You are somebody, Joanna." And Joanna opened her eyes, and there, standing in front of her, was the old woman that had given her the magic red rock. Mary was angry, although she would have denied it if she had drawn her attention to it. That was the custom in the past future city. I'm not Joanna anymore, and I'm not somebody since I just lost my magic red rock. I'm nobody. Nothing is right, and nothing is more. I've lost everything because I lost my red rock. I've looked over there and over there, but I just can't find it. She paused for a moment before she asked wistfully, "Can you give me another one?" The woman smiled kindly and said, "No, I'm afraid I can't." "Oh, you're cruel," Mary accused. "You gave me that magic red rock, and you knew I'd lose it." "Yes," said the woman, "I rather thought you would. They usually do." "How dreadful of you!" shouted Mary, becoming more and more obvious. Giving the magic red rock took away everything. "I rather thought you would. They usually do." "How dreadful of you!" shouted Mary, her anger becoming more and more obvious. "Giving magic red rocks away, giving hope for the future, the hope of release from the past, when you know people are going to lose them and be worse off than they were before." The woman answered kindly, "The magic is not in the red rock. The magic is in you." "Huh?" scoffed Mary. "Hardly. Before I had the red rock, I was nothing. Now I've lost it, and I'm nothing again. It was so beautiful over there in the kingdom of here now. And the present moment city was fun. My life there was fulfilled. I was happy." Mary turned and looked at the woman. "Why, you know, I didn't know that was what I was feeling. I had never felt those before. I thought what I wanted was money, but now I know what I wanted was fulfillment." "Ah," said the woman, "that's really what most people want." Mary looked closely at the woman. She had never really looked at her before. Now she noticed that this woman was quite old, although she seemed to have the blush of youth about her. She was dressed in an exquisite dress that whipped around her like a mist. Her hair was white and stylishly short. Although her face was lined with wrinkles, she had an aura of youth about her. Peace seemed to radiate from her. Mary felt warm, safe, and loved. For a moment, Mary sat there looking at the woman. Her anger almost dissipated. But then it raged within her again. Not this time she knew she was angry. How can anyone feel fulfilled in this forsaken place? Everything is over there, or in the past, or in the future. How about now? If I had my red rock, I'd have it now. The old woman said, "Ah, now you have the key, Joanna." "Yeah," Mary said, "I know. The red rock is the way. And don't call me Joanna. My name is Mary." "No, Mary," replied the woman. "The red rock only gave you something to believe in." "It's too late now," responded Mary. "I have nothing anymore, nothing to believe in. I guess it's true. If we remember the losses of the past, work hard, we'll get the good life in the future. But I want fulfillment and happiness now." "That's the key," said the woman. "Key? What key? I didn't say anything about a key." What does, no, you didn't, but you did mention now. What does now have to do with it? How is now the way? Don't you want that sense of fulfillment and happiness now? Of course I do, but how can I have them when I've lost the red rock? I guess you didn't hear me the first time. The red rock only gave you something to believe in. But now, Mary lost her anger. A good thing to lose, by the way. She was ready to listen, which was a first for Mary. "I don't understand," she said. "There is no such place as over there, Mary." "How can you say that? Everything is over there. This is the kingdom of over there." "Where are you now, Mary?" "That's a ridiculous question. I'm here with you." "Of course. That's the only place there is. When you lived in the kingdom of here now, it became here." "That's awfully confusing." "Go stand over there, Mary." And Mary walked to where the woman pointed. Where are you now, Mary? Why, here, of course. Oh, now I see where I was is now over there, and what was over there is now here. Wherever I am, this is here now. That's right, Mary. Here now. What time is it? It's almost 7 and I'm getting hungry. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, is it yesterday or tomorrow? What a silly question. It's not either of those, it's today. Yes, and is it later today or earlier today? You don't make sense. It's now, today, it's now. And where are you, Mary? When are you? I'm here now. Are you Mary? Are you still thinking about the red rock and how good it was? Of course, and I still hope you'll give me another one so I have something to believe in again. Then you aren't here now. You're in the past and future. Of course I'm in the past future. That's the name of this city. Close your eyes for a moment. What do you smell? What do you feel against your skin? What do you hear? Listen, Mary. Open your eyes and look at me. What did you experience, Mary? Lilacs. The most lovely smell of lilacs. It must be your perfume. I still smell it. And I felt the gentle breeze. I heard birds singing. I didn't know we had birds in the kingdom. And when I looked at you, I saw a beautiful woman that asks illogical questions. And where are you now, Mary? When are you, and how do you feel? I'm here now, and I feel peaceful. Here and now are the only place and time there is. What happened a few moments ago is in the past. You have stepped into the future, and it is here now. Here now, Mary, in the present moment. It's the moment when you choose. What do you choose, Mary? I'll take the red rock. You are a stubborn one. The red rock only gave you something to believe in. It has no power. It gave you another one. I wonder, Mary, what would happen if you believed in Joanna as much as you believe in the red rock. What's Joanna got to do with anything? I can't be her anymore. Joanna is your greater self, the self. The person you truly are, the self that yearns for here, now, the present moment, the greater self that longs to play in the universe here, now. Choose, Mary. Here, now is the moment of your power. The past, the future, or here, now. And the self that is truly you, the present moment, is the moment of power. Mary closed her eyes for a moment. She could choose. What a marvelous revelation. What do I choose? She asked herself. For a moment, she wandered to the past and then to the future and came at last to here, now, and Joanna. When she opened her eyes, the old woman was gone. She was alone. But she didn't feel alone. She felt peaceful, warm, safe, and loved. She looked at the two monuments. She began to intone automatically the old mantra, why doesn't somebody do something? Then she remembered, I am somebody. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And she played in the universe, here, now, each present moment more fun than the last. Live here, now, and that's the truth.
The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time. Any fool can do it. There ain't nothing to it. Well, nobody knows how we got to the top of the hill. But since we're on our way down, we might as well enjoy the ride. The secret of love is in opening up your heart. It's okay to feel afraid, but don't let it stand in your way, no. 'Cause anyone knows that love is the only road. And since we're only here for a while, yeah, we might as well show some style. Give us a smile now. Isn't it a lovely ride? Sliding down and gliding down. Try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Now the thing about time is that time isn't really real. It's all on your point of view. And how does it feel for you there? And Einstein said that he could never understand it all. The planet spinning through space, the smile upon your face. Welcome to the human race. Isn't that a lovely ride? Oh yeah. Sliding down and gliding down, and try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. Isn't that a lovely ride? Oh, my, yes. See me sliding down and gliding down. And try not to try too hard. It's just a lovely ride. The secret of life is enjoying the passage of time.